Greetings Gemini, a warm welcome to you all. Thank you for joining me for your July reading, over halfway through the year. So it seems to be travelling really fast. I hope wherever you're viewing this from you are experiencing a lovely, happy July. For us down here in the southern hemisphere it is winter, so it's a little bit drab. And for the northern hemisphere it's your wonderful summer period. We're using these three different decks here, 3 cards from each one. So let's just move these to a side for now and start with this. So this is for Gemini for 2018, for July. Just a shuffle of them to get your energy in. Gemini. All tied up, yin yang, and goddess of the moon. The next deck are the John Holland Psychic Tarot. This is for Gemini. And before we go too far, I did do some intuitive work for you before the reading, and you actually got the 4 of Cups that came out. So sort of thinking about being a little bit conciliatory and listening to others. And sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side type feeling, and give and take. There could be new people and passion. You also got the Star reversed turn up for you. And it's sort of, that's in the stars that certain events will be happening regardless of timing from our perspective. It's also feeling inspired and self-confidence and the need for balance. And interestingly enough, the yin-yang is always about balance as well. And you have got the moon card there. And we've been talking about the star. So something about maybe your planetary alignment for the month has something quite significant in it anyhow. So that's my fault. I had the deck upside down. I will turn it around the right way. So that's Solitude, number 9, which is the Hermit card. Accelerated Motion, the 8 of Wands. And the 7 of Wands, which is Stand Your Ground. So we've got the moon up here, and we've also got this strange body of a planet with a glow on it, which almost looks like an ecliptical event taking place. So I do think there are eclipses in June actually, so there might be something really powerful for you guys in the eclipses coming up. So let's just see what your last 3, oh wow, and then we've got a comet and stars again. Blimey, there's a lot going on for you guys in your planetary alignments, in the stars and the planets and the heavens. Wow. Okay, let's see what this is. Queen of Pentacles, the Fool, oh, High Priestess, and look what's emblazoned around her. 2 more moons. Wow, you know, synchronicity is such a powerful thing, and I am really fully into it. Like it occurs for me daily, all day, every day, and I'm so aware of it. But this is synchronicity. The moon, an ecliptical moon, the moon, the stars. And this one's occurring at night with a star up here. Wow, guys. So I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not entirely sure what your planetary alignments or anything are coming, but certainly July would appear to be quite big for Gemini. There might be eclipses that are occurring that will have events play out for you that could be affecting decisions or directions you go, or emotions in particular for you guys. And we do know that when eclipses are around, we can often feel emotionally displaced or unusual, and we can often set the ball rolling for the next 6 months, which could literally take you into the beginning of 2019. So if I try and focus as best I can on the cards, some will be more in focus than others. We're basically reading down the lines, and we'll start with this one here, All Tied Up, Solitude, and the Queen of Pentacles. The all tied up and the solitude go really well together. They're two, and again here's a little bit more synchronicity. They're two women standing there on their own in the dark of night as such. So there's something here about feeling as though you are wanting some time out, as though you need to contemplate something, as though you might be feeling, difficult to make a decision or unsure of a direction. The all tied up is often to do with decision making, and it's a little bit like the Two of Swords, I guess, representatively, just being uncertain of a direction that you need to take, or being uncertain perhaps of a feeling or a situation in life, or even being uncertain of yourself at the moment. So possibly the messages that we got in the beginning for the Gemini, not always worrying about things being greener on the other side, and a little bit of give and take in situations, possibly new people coming into your life and, wondering about things such as that occurring could be on your mind. If we look at the Hermit card underneath, or the Solitude, which tells us about wanting some time out, often the Hermit card is revered for being one, that's my little doggy making all that noise, one of great wisdom and achieving a certain state of awareness at the higher perspective levels of life. And if you look across that that line there, it's all to do with the mind. There's contemplation with this lady looking up here as well through the mind. There's this guy standing here contemplating this eclipse, pondering things through his mind as well. So it feels as though you guys have a lot on your mind, which is typical, of course, of a Gemini, and that Gemini mental activation that you have, that your air sign energy. So the Solitude and the Hermit card can really represent some sort of download of information, or awareness, or awakening, or ascension, or an activation. So a whole bunch of those things could be occurring. Now the fact that the Queen of Pentacles is down the bottom here, it could even be referencing around your finances, or your career, or your ideas about that type of perspective in life as well. So this could be some of what's going on in your mind. It could be to do with a focus on your career, or how you obtain money in your life, or how you spend it, or how you invest it. But the Queen of Pentacles is often known as a very positive card in references to finances and money. So it could even be that there's an offer out there for you, and you are pondering, my God, what do I do? Which way do I go? Should I do A or B? Or it could be that you are pondering how to make more money, or how to get yourself out of a pit, not a pitfall, but a kind of a leeway of not having enough money, or not having enough accessible cash for things that you've been wanting. So there's this pondering, and there's this positioning of A or B, or up or down, or left or right. I have a feeling that emotions are tied up with this financial decision one way or another as well. So it's not just about career in terms of your job. I think that it goes a little bit deeper than that. Some of you may even have to contemplate changes around your job, about leaving it, or when you don't want to. It might be that you have to for a family issue, or because you're shifting, or because the business is altering structure and going out of business, or dividing itself, or growing bigger or smaller. There could be a whole lot of complications like that as well. But if we come to the next row, we have the yin yang, the number 8, and then the 0, the Fool. So yin yang is always about balance and maintaining integral balance in situations in life. So finding the equilibrium. Now this is whether it's within your own soul, or spiritual being, or physical being. And this can also be whether it's within your relationships, and again at the same levels. It can be your health in life as well. I mean, it's anything. It's talking about balance of situations that occur, and the more balance we feel, and the more yin and yang in the middle that we have, the more flow we get, and the more flow we get, the more manifestation of our dreams that come through. And it's telling you underneath that there is an accelerated motion around you, which is the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands can literally also represent air travel, can represent some of you might be going on holiday in this month of July, or travelling somewhere by air, possibly to attend an interview, or the prospect of some sort of new beginning, like a shifting. We've talked about shifting a couple of times, even though the cards that you have here aren't necessarily cards of shifting. There feels as though you're shifting something around. So the acceleration motion can also sometimes represent new people coming in, and it can represent new love relationships, and it can be quite quick and unexpected. So that's on the cards for some of you as well, if that's what you're looking for. We come to the Fool below, and he's looking directly at that Queen of Pentacles. I'm wondering if for some of you there might be literally new relationships with earth sign people, and some of them could be females and some of them could be around that middle age bracket. They could be new bosses or friends or lovers, anything along those lines. So the Fool card represents again inner spiritual awakening or awareness, and this is kind of very connected to the solitude and connected down here to this, and also the goddess of the moon as well. So the Fool is very much about yourself and applying things in life that are going to work for you, as opposed to thinking too much about other people. And in fact the whole reading plays out very much about you in the month of July. So maybe you're putting yourself first and, you know, pondering what it is that you need to either solve or move on from or activate in your life. So your needs seem very important, and it's not so much about the greater community around you. I do love the Fool card. I think it's a very powerful one of potential new directions in many, many ways. If we go up to the goddess of the moon on the right, she again often talks about cycles of life, as does the yin yang and the accelerated motion and the high priestess. So it's something very much about cyclical patterns or energy in your life as well. You may be coming into a new cycle of health or manifestation, such as riches or wealth or job offers, or a change in your relationship status, anything along those lines. That goddess of the moon talks about also female energies and cycles, so there is a degree of fertility in this card. Some of you may be wanting to conceive a pregnancy, and this could be quite a fertile time for you as well. So the other things that the goddess of the moon can represent is very much about intuition and listening to the insight of your own higher self as such, and having that trust in your gut instinct. And again, when we have all of these perspectives of life, we're far more balanced, like the yin yang, and when we have balance, much more happens. So we don't find ourselves in that all tied up position like that first card. So the goddess of the moon brings to you all sorts of information too, from the mundane to the spectacular, because when you tap into your innate intuitive awareness, you receive much more insight and information, the same as the solitude card or the hermit card. It could be that it also indicates a significant blossoming of psychic ability and mediumship, even for some of you on a professional level. So if some of you have been working in this realm, you know, mediumship or psychic or intuitive work, it might be a suggestion that your business could be growing and expansion could be occurring. So to keep going, to stand your ground and not give up, because you're gaining a lot of insight and wisdom here, especially in this particular month. So it's a perfect time to open up and be ready for inspiration that comes. Now with the Stand Your Ground card here, the Seven of Wands, again these two talk a little bit about possible career choices or options. If there has been trouble at work or frustration or a lack of ability for you to get to a point or a project furthered, don't give up, because it's well worth pursuing. And I think that Moon card is saying the same thing. So this could very well align for a lot of you about your career, or if you have started businesses or you're in business, or you have had a project on you know, in the plans or the pipeline, it's progressing and the work that you've put into it is paying dividends. But don't give up yet. You've still got a way to go, so you have still got more information that needs being put in, and you've still got more energy to put in, and that's what the standing your ground is all about. It can also mean that other people are having their fair say about your input, or they're also interjecting and adding ideas that you either may not like or that someone else may like more, and that's why you might have been feeling as though this wasn't going to come to fruition, but it should do. It's quite a lot of positive omens in this reading in so many ways. So we come down to the High Priestess, this bottom card, very much about fertility. It's also about sexuality too, and sexual attraction, especially for, you know, romantic relationships. So again, there's possibility of new romance within your reading here, or new excitement within current relationships that exist. So a heightened awareness of each other's physicality and sexual needs and bonding. That's also a possibility for some of you. It can also represent feminine cycles, such as going into menopause or coming into puberty. So some of you might be going through those type of physical and emotional changes as well. The High Priestess, is very much like the Hermit. They seem to be partners in life, and they're very esoteric, and they have great wisdom coming to them, or they share it. She's also considered very psychic and intuitive. So you've got this incredible amount of energy coming through, informing you about this higher self-awareness, intuitiveness and psychic abilities for the month in July, as well as this connection to the eclipses, to the moon, to the stars, to comets. I'm not sure if we have any comets in or around at the moment, but if we do, they are very powerful and they can alter situations and circumstances very rapidly and add to events that are occurring for us at personal levels. So you have so much in here. I mean, even this one up here to me looks like a sphere of some sort in the sky. You have so much pertaining to events occurring in planetary lineups, or looking up at the sky, or energies of the moon, which of course is very intuitive, very feminine, very cyclical, very emotional. So it's an emotional month, all about your needs and wants and energies and stuff that are going through you. So I think it's slightly more emotional than mental, because often you guys are in the mind and we see that message coming through, but there's a hell of a lot of emotion in this month. So you're addressing things at a very emotional level for July, but there's power in this reading, great power to take you forward. So there you are, Geminis, a really lovely reading. I love the illumination in there and the insight as well, and the synchronicity. Kapow! Like, yeah, that really rocks. So thank you all for joining me. I love it when you leave your comments. Remember to check your moon and rising signs as well, because there could be some really good messages in there. Have a wonderful July, everyone. Much love. Namaste.